Hello and welcome to Byju's Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we start with our today's practice questions, a gentle reminder. Byju's Exam Prep IAS has officially launched its Telegram channel. What is that you have to do? Follow the link given in the description box or scan this QR code. This will take you to our official Telegram channel, and once you join, you will get all the current affairs related updates. Let's get started and look into the first question. Which of the following statements with respect to Madras are correct? Madras was ruled by Vijayanagaras and they appointed chieftains known as Nayaks who ruled different regions in the province almost independently. Damarala Venkatadri Nayaka was the chieftain when the British East India Company arrived to set up its trade and other commercial activities. Francis Day and Andrew Cogan secured a grant for a strip of land that belonged to the Raja of Chandragiri. During World War I, Madras was the only Indian city to be bombarded by the German light cruiser SMS Emden. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to Madras Day. August 22nd is observed as the Madras Day. Let's go back to the British rule. The British wanted a piece of land. They wanted to settle. They wanted to conduct their industrial activities and also have trade. So what is that they want? They wanted a piece of land along the coastal area. That is when they approach Damarala Venkatadri Nayaka and he happens to give them a 3-mile long strip of land in the fishing village of Madarasapatnam. In February of 1640, we had Francis Day, who was accompanied by Cogan, who proceeded to the land to start a new English factory and build a fort as followed by the grant, which was for a period of 2 years. On the expiry of the grant, a new grant was issued by 1645 by the new Raja Sri Rangalu, empowering the company to expand its property by attaching an additional piece of land, thus laying the foundation for the expansion of Madras into its present form. These are some of the important facts with respect to the historical picture of Madras. Another important one is with respect to the Battle of Madras. The Battle of Madras or the Fall of Madras took place in September 1746 during the War of Austrian Succession when a French force attacked and captured the city of Madras from its British garrison. And as part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section which was the treaty that came up to end this debacle between French as well as the British during this Battle of Madras. Please put it on the comment section. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements. Aadhaar number is a 12-digit random number issued by the UIDAI to the residents of India. Linking of Aadhaar with the voter identity card is compulsory. Voter ID would be cancelled if it is not linked to Aadhaar. Which of the statements given above are incorrect? Since it is asking for the incorrect statement, the answer to this is 2 and 3 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to the Aadhaar number. Let us try and understand what is this article all about. The government of India came up with a notification which said that if people want to, on a voluntary basis, they would be able to link their voter ID with the Aadhaar numbers. This happens to be a voluntary initiative. It is not a compulsory initiative. But there are few people in multiple cities who are requesting people and asking them to ensure that their voter ID is tagged with the Aadhaar number and putting it as compulsory. In case they do not register, they are also claiming that their voter ID will be cancelled, their names on the electoral list will be deleted immediately. But this is not because the government has not issued any such notification. Yes, the government did say that voter ID has to be tagged with the Aadhaar number, but this is not compulsory. This is just voluntary, and this means that if a person does not go ahead with linking the voter ID with the Aadhaar card, his details will not be deleted from the electoral roll. But why did the government come up with such an issue? That is because the government goes on to say linking voter IDs with the Aadhaar number will help in streamlining the electoral rolls and the process of registration of the migrant workers. Let's say for example, there are migrant workers who are in one city, they move to another city, and when they move to another city, they also get their a new election ID card as well, but there is also ghost accounts that are created. So in order to avoid these ghost accounts, so that they have just one voter ID, one election vote, which is why the government came up with such a notification. Added to it, there are also concerns as well. What if people have to tag their voter ID with the Aadhaar number? In that particular case, there is violation of the individual's privacy as well. So opposition political parties are also saying that the government should not have asked for the linking of voter ID with the Aadhaar. So the first statement is right, because the Aadhaar number is a 12-digit random number issued by UIDAI to the residents of India. But the second is wrong, because it is not compulsory, but it happens to be voluntary, and voter ID would be cancelled. No, it would not be cancelled if it is not linked with the Aadhaar. So second and third statements are incorrect. So the answer to this would be C. Now let's look into the next practice question. Who among the following are eligible for getting free legal services? Women and children, living freedom fighters, minorities, disabled persons, retired military personnel. The answer to this is 1 and 4 only. Amongst this, it is only the women and children and disabled who will be getting the free legal services. There is no mention of living freedom fighters or the minorities or the military personnel. If we look into the legal services, who are the people who will be getting free legal services? It includes scheduled caste or scheduled tribe, a victim of trafficking in human beings or beggar as referred to in Article 23 of Constitution, a woman or a child, a mentally ill or otherwise disabled person, a person under circumstance of undeserved want such as being a victim of mass disaster, ethnic violence, caste atrocity, flood, drought, earthquake or industrial disaster, an industrial workman in custody, including custody in protective home, immoral traffic act, juvenile home within the meaning of Juvenile Justice Act of 1986, and added to it in case people have such an income which is less than the prescribed amount in a relevant state, even those will be entitled for the free legal services. So what do we mean by free legal services? In this particular case, they would be provided with a representation by an advocate in the legal proceedings. There will be preparation of pleadings, memo of appeal, paper book including printing and translation, drafting of the legal document, special leave petition. All of this will be taken care, and they would also be advised on any legal matter. Further, this article makes a mention of legal aid defense counsel system. What exactly happens in a criminal case? When you look at a criminal case, what you will have is an accused. You will also have the victim. When it comes to the victim, he is represented by the public prosecutor, but when it comes to the accused, they can have their own defense counsel as well, an advocate whom they can appoint. But in most of the cases, the accused are very poor as well. They would not be able to have an advocate who is representing them on the defense front. In this particular case, there are poor people who have to sell their assets, sell all their wealth just to hire a private counsel. In order to overcome this particular issue, they have come up with what is called as the legal aid defense counsel system. And this is for all the poor people who would not be able to hire the private counsel. So in the criminal cases, there are poor people who would not be represented by the advocates. For such people, what we have is a new system that they have come up with called as the legal aid defense counsel system in all the criminal cases. So basically 70% of the population are below the poverty line, and NALSA or any free legal services are only hired by about 10 to 12% people. So rest of the people are going to the private counsel. So to avoid and to make sure that these poor people also make use of the free legal services, what they have come up is called as the legal aid defense counsel system. How will this process work? What we have is the government will provide certain amount of money to NALSA, and NALSA, once it gets the money, this will be passed on to the LADSC system. This is what we have to understand with respect to this article. Now let's look into the next article. Consider the following statements. He was instrumental in the foundation of the All India Depressed Classes League. He appeared before the Haman Commission at Ranchi and demanded for the first time voting rights for the Dalits. He was arrested for his active participation in the Quit India movement launched by the Indian National Congress. The above statements best describe Anant Lakshman Kanhere, Babu Ginu, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Jagjeevan Ram. The answer to this is Jagjeevan Ram. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Indian Express makes a reference to Jagjeevan Ram. Let us try and understand some of the important factual data with respect to Jagjeevan Ramji. What are these facts? Jagjeevan Ram was born in Chandwa in Bihar to a Dalit family. His father was in the British Army but later left it and acquired farming land in his native place. He pursued his schooling at the nearby town of Are, where he faced discrimination for the first time. He was considered untouchable and had to drink water from a different pot. Jagjeevan Ram protested against this by breaking the pot. In 1925, Jagjeevan Ram met scholar Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya and was greatly inspired by him. That is when he joined the Banaras Hindu University. Even at the university, Jagjeevan Ram faced discrimination. This inspired him to protest against such social boycott of a section of society. After a stint at BHU, he joined the University of Calcutta. He was noted by Subhash Chandra Bose because of his organizational skills. In 1935, he proposed a session of the Hindu Mahasabha that drinking water wells and temples be open to the untouchables. He took part in the freedom movement as well and was imprisoned during the Quit India movement. So when we look into these statements, yes, all the three statements, he was instrumental in the foundation of All India Depressed Classes League. He appeared before the Hammond Commission at Ranchi and he was arrested for active participation in Quit India movement. All of this is in reference to Jagjeevan Ramji. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following pairs. We have region often mentioned in the news on one side, the country it is present on the other side. Anatolia, Turkey, Amhara, Ethiopia, Cabo Delgado, Spain, Catalonia, Italy. How many pairs given above are correctly matched? The answer to this is only two pairs. Antilonia, yes, it is in Turkey, and Amhara, yes, it is in Ethiopia, but Cabo Delgado is not in Spain, but instead it is in Mozambique. And when it comes to Catalonia, it is not in Italy, but instead it is in Spain. So only two pairs are correctly matched, which is why the answer to this would be B. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2022. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is forever chemicals. What are these forever chemicals? There was a recent study that was published in Environmental Science and Technology. They found that rainwater from many places across the globe is contaminated with what is called as polyfluoroalkali substances or the PFAS. Let's call it as PFAS. What are these forever chemicals? Because they have the tendency to remain in the soil or in the groundwater or in the rainwater or in the atmosphere for a long period of time. They are called as forever chemicals. So remember, these are the chemicals which are present in groundwater, soil water, rainwater and atmosphere. Because they are present in the atmosphere for a longer period of time, they are called as the forever chemicals. What are these PFAS? These are nothing but chemicals used to make non-stick cookware, water repellent clothing, stain resistant fabrics, cosmetics, firefighting foams, many other products that resist grease, water and oil. They are also found in dental floss thread and in food wrappers used in the restaurants. The minute they are spread into the environment, they contaminate the soil, water and air during the production and use. Since PFAS do not break down easily, they remain in the environment for a long period of time. What harm do these PFAS cause? The United States Environmental Protection Agency lists a variety of health risks that are attributed, which includes decreased fertility, developmental effects in children, interference with body hormones, increased cholesterol levels, and increased some kinds of cancer. Recent research have also revealed long-term low-level exposure to certain can make it difficult for the humans to build antibodies after being vaccinated against various diseases. How do we overcome this particular issue? There is no known method that can extract and remove PFAS from the atmosphere. What we can make use of is the filtration system with the activated carbon. The activated carbon will need to be removed and replaced regularly. Also, the old contaminated material must be destroyed as well. One way is to burn the concentrated PFAS, but that comes with the risk of releasing into the air the PFAS that survive the incineration. It is this that we have to understand with respect to the forever chemicals. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.